Pretty cold out here. Hi, this is Lynn Suzek, and this is Faith Talk. And why do I do it outside? Well, the lighting is so much better. Everywhere else I try to set it up. Merry Christmas! It's my Merry Christmas sweatshirt. Broke it out after Thanksgiving. Okay, so I wanted to talk about Mel Bond has a video called Activating God's Power, and I'm going to discuss it while I have it on my mind because I listened to it twice and it's really good and on. So activating God's power, he talks about examples of what it takes to activate God's power, and I'm gonna talk about one of his examples and then maybe some of my own past examples I agree with. He talks about Philippians 4:8 being I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, and how that gets activated, and that is by forcefully, acting like God's word is true, forcefully acting on God's word, and then the power flows. And usually the way that this happens is kind of like a life or death situation, when we have to see something happen and we put forth our everything we've got into this getting, like, for instance, I'm kind of holding back on getting up because I don't want to fall. So if I were to be in a life and death situation, that might be when I force myself to try to get up, without thinking, and would happen. So trying to force yourself to do that is a little difficult. But I have seen things happen, like he was talking about lifting a car, like he needed to lift a car, and then it was like a feather, after he put everything he had into it, and I agree with that. I think that's somehow he just interpreted I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me with, I don't know where he got it from, but I believe taking your promises by force. I think it's in Matthew. The faith is taking it by force. I usually know that verse. Something, take it by force. Okay, you probably know the verse. Anyway, the situation that I'm remembering is like I was in the hospital and I had ended up for some reason having an appendicitis, and I have, looking back, I think about things that I might do differently now than what I did, which is, anyway, I ended up in the hospital, and it seems like I was there 3 weeks. It was like, I'm like, oh, it should be getting better, and it was like, ugh, something's not good, and I had all this stuff going on, and I just kept trying to, I wasn't sleeping at night. I was practically not sleeping at all. I felt like, I'd live through this better if I don't go to sleep. I felt like I was having breathing problems, possibly panic, and I felt like if I went to sleep I was going to die. So a lot of things were going on, and I just finally just decided, a lot of it has to do with decision. It's time to go home to my house. I will recover at home. That was my action. So I told them, and they were kind of tired of me being there. I said, I think I will recover better at home. And to them, it could have been like, whether she lives or dies, if that's what she wants to do, then go ahead, they agreed, even though I was going to go whether they agreed or not. But they set me up to do whatever taking medications that I was on, IV. You know, they set me up to go home. So that was my action. And as I was leaving the hospital, I wasn't well enough to leave, but I was leaving whether or not, I was going to go home and get well or go home and not get well. Probably was what they might have been thinking, but I was hearing kind of like a certain song in my head as I was leaving, like this was the right thing to do. You know, this was like choir of angels were following me out, like, and this was it. So I did go home, and you know, I had to take, still, you know, I was on a really harsh medication, and it was just like, I felt like it was killing me. This medication, which was supposed to be making me better, it was so just, I don't know, I was like, gosh, this is, you know, I don't remember the rest of it. All I remember is I got better. And that was a faith action, leaving the hospital on my own. You know, they weren't like, okay, you're getting better, so now it's time to leave. I was like, I am going home. So, and I probably have other of my own, you know, like I've mentioned some other things about just, I was forcefully deciding, you know. So I'm not sure what action it's going to take to get out of this wheelchair, but I know and getting that's the right thing to do. Take it by force. And he talks about it. It's called Activating God's Power. And I'm going to try to put a link under this so you can listen to it. He's got example after example of taking, you know, acting like God's word is true and doing stuff based on, you know, believing that, and like, you know, it's either gonna happen or it's not type thing. Let's go, you know. So this is a discussion on his assessment of faith being taking it by force, and the violent shall take it by force, I think it says in Matthew. And I totally already agree with that. So my thing is, how am I going to take this by force? And I keep thinking and thinking, but I know that's the right thing. That this is going to be like almost like a violent action. I'm not going to just get well. I'm probably not going to, I would like to just wake up and my legs are moving and my fingers are moving and get up. But I'm not sure why that's not what's happening, and yet I know that taking it by force is correct. So I'm encouraging you today, think and pray on and listen to that video, and we got to learn how to take our healing by force, because God already cheering us on. He wants us to do it. So I just felt his teaching was very encouraging in that, and he couldn't have said it much more clearly. And it's like something is going to get through. So I'm sure we all need this. And I was trying to just reiterate what I know already, add to it with what Mel Bond is saying, and he was just giving lots of examples of how to take things by force, and it was very, very good. So listen to that and let me know what happens, and I'll let you know as I'm thinking about it and praying about it and acting on it is what I want to do. Acting in faith. Let's go. Yay!